Hey traders from around the world, what's going on? It's me, Jeremy Alexander Newsom with Real Life Trading Camp. Trust everyone's doing magically terrific. It is indeed Monday, the day after the holiday season. I trust everyone had a splendidly serendipitous Thanksgiving holiday and was able to spend time with friends, family, and you had an absolute marvelous time. The markets, as usual, gapped up nicely after the Thanksgiving holidays. One of my rules is actually for longer term trades or swing trades not to be in short over the holiday weekend, the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. That's mostly because I will always remember this. Let me go back in time. I'm going to go back a ways. Going to take you back to before I really knew a lot about trading and risk and gaps and all that. This was the last time I was in bearish over the Thanksgiving holiday back in 2011. So that was, it's crazy that sounds, 7 years ago. And you had this, I mean, if you're looking at a beautiful pennant pattern, you know, triangle pattern, whatever, broke down. I mean, looking back, I would not, you know, there's no reason to be in short, but you have 3, 4, 5. I think I added to my position too on the 23rd. I was like buying more puts. So got in on the 23rd, you know, it was bearish. And actually the candles are almost identical. If you look at that, right? We had that like Friday low volume kind of shooting star candle. You had a really good bullish gap that next Monday. I'm not saying that we're going to continue as strong as we did from that day, but I'm certainly not saying that we can't do that. That's weird. I don't know how that did that. Sorry. Okay. So anyway, back to over here. It had that really nice, you know, breakdown. It had a, you know, good gap. I was in bearish, and bottom line, I lost a butt ton of money. So I learned the lesson the hard way. Yeah, just over the Thanksgiving holiday specifically. I don't really have any other memories with any other holidays, but with Thanksgiving, because of that particular trade and just abysmal loss that I took with a lot of puts that did not work out, that was also a gap and go. I mean, you can see. So that was really a great turning point in my trading because I learned so much, and that was 7 years ago. Anyway, random story, but we'll see if we get something similar like this coming forward on the SPY. Again, I don't know if we do, but I'd love to see some bullish continuation from here. The holiday season's over. You know, the gaps have occurred, and if we go back to present day, yeah, this was a beautiful gap. So most of the morning I was mentioning as long as we don't close on the daily chart at this point below 265. So really I could kind of drop this here. This is now a really great gap. And if we close below 265.33 on the SPY, then we'll pretty much have a good idea and determination that we'll probably continue down a little bit lower. But this was a great gap, bullish, very nice move, certainly trapping some bears. And like I said, as long as we don't close below 265.33, I'm kind of excited about this potentially being the double bottom, like this little move over here, right? And you know, we'll see if that does actually transpire, and if that does occur. You know, here's the weekly chart, and the long-term moving averages is still at 259. So there's certainly the chance that we could make it down to 258. I would like it to trade down to 258. That'd be fun. But we're going to see. I mean, I like this gap. And the cool part is I actually planned this last week. Here is kind of the note. If we have a bearish day, Wednesday and Friday, which we did, and we gap up and open above Tuesday's high on Monday, it's a bullish gap and go. Even though we didn't gap above Tuesday's high, we did gap above, obviously, you know, it was a bullish gap, and we did gap above the move. And that's just kind of, it happens a lot over the Thanksgiving holiday. You know, Black Friday sales and Cyber Monday, and a lot of companies making a lot of money. They just get a lot of information. And so that's just one of those things that you can kind of take away from here on out. That's just one of the things that I do. I don't really go bearish over the Thanksgiving holiday season, and I usually go bullish, expecting a little bit of a gap up. So SPY, good gap, good volume. Let's see what we do from here. The Qs was up strong today, 2.31%. Robert Falco mentioned he did exit this put sale for a profit, so good job, Falco. And we made another low on the Qs, right? We almost got to that weekly 100 simple. It did complete a rest after battle. Last week was a pretty bearish move, and that's why I was mentioning, if there's going to be any hope that we're going to continue bullish or bounce, this was really the candle that we needed for us not to go any lower, and that's why this candle is so important. So if at any point in time we do close, especially if it happens this week, if we close below the low of this candle that we're forming on the Qs, the Dow Jones, the IWM, all of that good stuff, if we take out these lows, then yeah, we're going to have a little bit more pain. But the Dow, nice gap on the Dow, good volume. Here's Raytheon, RTN. Actually had a bearish, still have a bearish setup on Raytheon. See if I want to short it at 178.51 with a stop at 184.51. I'm trying to decide if I want to leave that trade open or not. Yeah, we'll see. We'll kind of see what tomorrow does. I'll talk about it today in the afternoon swing trading room, but if we gap up above the highs of these candles, I think I'll just cancel it. As long as we don't open above the highs of those candles, we should be good. Let's talk about the trades that we played today in the trading room. I did play PLT, and it was a nice bearish gap and go on a day when the whole market was gapping up. I thought to myself, okay, we got something. It's gapping down, the market is up. It is a dividend-paying stock at a 52-week low, so should have told me not to play it. But here's the 5-minute chart, and what you'll notice is on this 5-minute time frame, actually I played it on the 3-minute chart, but it's all kind of the same. Had this very nice bullish candle, inside candle, it broke below, and I actually waited. So even though once it broke below this candle, this hammer candle, I guess I technically should have waited for a break below the low of that hammer. But once this doji came in, and then once this bearish candle came in, I did a limit sell here with a stop way up here. So I was able to lower the stop. You can see we got triggered in. I was hoping it would roll over. Turns out it didn't. I did lower the stop once this candle came in. I lowered the stop to here, and then this candle kind of popped in and wicked us out. So I still lost an R on PLT. That's pretty much what happened. Even though it was a good move, it was a good gap, and all things considered, should have won on the trade. Hey, sometimes those happen, and it's really good to see what occurs when you get a great gap and you get a good move. There's ways I could have played it to not lose on the trade, I feel like, but that would have been really waiting for this second 5-minute candle and just getting in below 46.21. Had I gotten in or waited to get below 46.21, it would have worked out. But looking at the 3-minute chart, I just figured that taking out this hammer with this much volume certainly wasn't bullish. So I gave it a shot, and I lost. It happens, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the cool part is we did take a trade on Square, and we won. Here's the daily chart on Square. And this in pink is, again, what I'm thinking is kind of worst-case scenario as I drew back over here. I still think that put sale at 60 will be fine. I think Square will easily recover. But it was a nice gap today. So if you zoom in, you'll notice that you're gapping above the highs of this candle. These two candles, almost a perfect inside day candle with low volume, right? Huge bullish candle. So this is like a 2-day pennant pattern inside day. Nice bullish retest gap on Square. And the 200 simple was acting as a support, which was at 65.20. So I played this one just like we play any bullish retest. I mean, this was realistically quite normal. You had the fade down early, right? That's all the people taking profit. The new high, the S-curve, that's where we got in bullish, and it rode up. So entry was here and stop was down here. It was $1 risk on Square, and exited up here for a little bit more than an R. So actually lost an R on PLT and made more than an R on Square to end profitable on the day. That's trading, ladies and gentlemen. 50-50, win less than you, lose less than you win. That's the point. Apple. Tons of people today asked me, is Apple going to bounce off of the 100 simple on a weekly? Short term, yes. Long term, I'm really not sure. It certainly could, and I want it to. There's a lot of people in bullish on Apple, and I would love for it to bounce. But here's the thing. Just going back in time, we didn't really get held up by the 100 there. In fact, we actually gapped down below the 100. And what you can see right here on Apple, this like kind of cute candle back on December. If that broke down, we really got, much, much lower. So back over here, the 100 didn't really hold Apple up. Back over here, these are the most recent crashes on Apple. And I say crashes with air quotes. So this was the last time over here. It didn't hold up. And then in 2008, it didn't hold up. And these are the only three really big drawdowns that Apple's ever had. But, you can see a little bit of a high wave candle, and you got an inside candle, then it broke lower. So great question. Is Apple going to bounce off the 100? If you're trying it here, I would just try it with shares, since they don't expire and they pay dividends rather than leaps. If you're going long, that's fantastic. I'm just saying I'm not personally going bullish down here on Apple. I'm not scared of Apple by any means. I'm not saying it's going to go to zero. It's no longer a $1 trillion company. In fact, really interesting, the market cap for Apple right now, $826 billion. Check this out. Microsoft, $817 billion. So with a little bit more move from Microsoft, and if Apple doesn't catch up soon, Microsoft will replace Apple as the biggest company in the world. And that would be a really interesting event, especially since Microsoft is holding up pretty well. So keep that in mind. I think that's kind of an interesting thing to take just to consider. And yes, you're very extended on Apple, right? You're really far away from the moving averages. This is a retest gap. So short term, should Apple bounce off the 100 simple on a weekly? Yes, absolutely. If for any reason Apple closes below the low of today, I do think Apple will be going lower, maybe all the way down to the 200. The reason I'm saying the 200, that's what's happened the last 3 times Apple has had a really big retracement of this magnitude. Will that occur? I don't know, right? Again, if you're buying Apple down here with shares, that's fantastic. I wouldn't buy it with options necessarily, just in case we don't bounce really strongly. But if you're buying with shares, shares don't expire. At some point, Apple will be going higher, but right now, I think it's just hanging out. So that's my thoughts. JP Morgan, I actually missed, unfortunately, a beautiful trade on JP Morgan. This is the one that we're looking at early this morning in the day trading room. And, oh, by the way, for all of those who haven't signed up yet, if you want to, you certainly are welcome to take advantage of the Black Friday. We do have a little special going on at this particular moment in time. If you want to hop in, there's 8 hours left. And, just hop in for the year package. Do it. Be awesome. Be cool. Join the team. But I had a Comcast representative come over to my house. I had the internet installed recently, and I was changing the modem area from one spot to another spot. And I did not think that the Comcast person would have to reboot the internet. So can you believe it? Like a minute and a half after market open, I had to get a reboot on my internet. And I missed this setup on JP Morgan. Now, the good news is my buddy Brian T. and Tara both traded JP Morgan for a gain. But the entry, stop, I mean, look at this 3-minute candle. Perfect high wave 3-minute. Entry would have been right there. Stop would have been right there. Home run trade. So, things happen. Kind of stinks. Okay, had other trades were requested. Let's see, looked at all those. All right, KGC. So I had a trader ask, got into these 2 stocks, and he wanted to know how he did. So here's the weekly chart on KGC. And the reason I'm looking at the weekly is just to see if there's any support down here that it could bounce off of. The last time we bounced on KGC was in 2001. And that was pretty much at a buck, right around that $2,000 mark when gold was pretty much getting just absolutely creamed. You do have a double bottom. What I like is your morning star on a weekly chart. So you have a little bit of a morning star on a weekly. I mean, the trend right now is bearish to down, bearish to neutral, neutral to down, however you want to say it. Here's the daily chart. So you got the 50 to contend with, long-term moving averages. They're all bearish. So bottom line, I mean, obviously there's some good volume spikes coming in, and I do like that. I would simply say if I was in KGC personally, my stop would either be here at 237, or more aggressive would be 248. That would be the two tightest stops that I would have on KGC. ACB is the other one that was requested, Aurora Cannabis. And I just think some of the cannabis, they had their heyday. They did their move. The highest ever was the day that they came out. That, you know, everything happened in Canada. I think it was October 16th was the legalization day. It was either then or October 17th. I don't remember. And neither do the people who smoked all the weed. Just kidding. Anyway, stupid. ACB, huge white candle, gapped up to all-time resistance, and everyone sold. That was really, really easy to do. Unfortunately, there was no shorts available on most of those cannabis stocks because I wanted to short them so hard on that day, right? Perfect example, ladies and gentlemen, of buy the rumor, sell the news. And yeah, ACB just traded. Look at that resistance. Look at this. Look at this. The high of this candle is 1230. High of this candle, 1253. How many brand newbies, brand noob traders do you think bought right there thinking, oh, this is the time to get in long? Anyway, so at this particular point, it makes sense for it to go down a little bit lower. I'm certainly not saying it will, but I think it could trade down to 483, which would be a decent sell-off. I mean, this one's tough. I agree. It's one of those industries you want it to go higher. I get it. I understand. But just based on the channel, I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking. What I'm seeing is kind of like a channel. It really depends on how you draw it. That would probably be two of my support lines. So obviously there's the support around 586. So if you're getting in here, I would just personally say get in small. Tiptoe in, put your small pinky toe in the water, test out the depth. And then if you're looking to add bigger positions, I would just try to do it as cheaply as possible. How low is Aurora Cannabis going to go? I have no idea. I'm just going to go down to 271. Most likely not, but that could also be a buying spot. But anyway, ACB and just the cannabis plays in general, the move has happened. The news is over. I get it. Canada and a lot of other places up in that region are making money. Colorado, Nevada, California. I totally understand. But just remember that nothing in the stock market is super obvious. So right about the time that you think it's the most obvious thing in the world to make money is usually the time where it's going to reverse. And that's exactly what happened on ACB, right? Everyone thought, oh, this is the perfect time to make money on cannabis. It's legal now. Well, the problem is it had already made its move. It had already almost pretty much, yeah, tripled. It had tripled in value from August to October. Tripled. Anyway, buy low, sell high. That's my thoughts on ACB. I think it can go a little bit lower, down into the 100 simple on a weekly. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I have more stock reviews coming up for you this week. Wednesday and Friday, feel free to get your requests in the door so I can look at the stocks that you want me to look at. Hopefully you enjoyed all of the videos that I sent out over the weekend. If you didn't get a chance to check out those videos, hop over to reallifetrading.com and come down here to recent videos. Tons of great content, all for free. Check it out. Helping traders from all around the world make money every month consistently. I love it. You're amazing. All right, folks, I'm Audi 5000, and until next time, love life, live life, and trade.